it off at your...
This is the Real Pod Newscast with Levon Putney with a quick check on what's going on. So here's my man to get into it.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully the week is starting off well for everyone. Let's go ahead and jump straight into things. We'll skip the small talk this time.
My favorite stories of the day.
In Indianapolis, last Monday morning, the 9th, local police say they got a call from a Family Dollar store saying somebody just robbed them. So cops say officers went right then and there to the store, but Fox 59 is reporting 15 minutes after the call came in, officers heard a couple gunshots down the street from the store. So went to check on that and found a man on the ground who had been riding a bike until he was shot in the butt. The cops say somebody saw this happen and gave officers a description of the shooter and the car they were in. Now, from there, cops took the report, doubled back then to the Family Dollar store and say the car the witness described was right there, parked in the lot, and say the two dollar store workers looked a lot like who the witness described. And sure enough, cops say officers pressed the two, and turns out the two workers were also engaged, and the guy told his fiancée, hey, they had to get the stolen store items back. So they hopped in their car, chased the thief pedaling away down the street on his bike, and got the merchandise back. But since Indianapolis police is not cool with dollar store workers basically doing drive-bys, even on thieves, the mail store worker arrested, charged with aggravated battery and criminal recklessness. A Superior Court judge in Vermont had to hold a hearing 3 weeks ago because a father sued the Burlington Free Press and accused the newspaper's sports staff of hurting his son's college basketball prospects and causing stress, gastrointestinal distress, and panic attacks, all because the paper did not cover his son's games last season. This father claimed in his lawsuit that the newspaper should pay punitive and compensatory damages for violating the Consumer Protection Act, breach of contract, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And to that, the judge said, no, dismissed the case, citing First Amendment of the Constitution covering free speech, freedom of the press, including the freedom of editorial decisions to cover whatever they want. Now, no word if the guy's son got into a college and whether he'll have to walk on to try out for the basketball team, but if he does, just think those coaches may have already heard of him from this lawsuit. And not for nothing, but how would dad act if NIL money starts coming into play? When the college football season starts up in a couple months, the University of Central Florida's new stadium name will probably turn a few heads, even though students and alum will get it. FBC Mortgage Stadium will be renamed the Acrisure Bounce House. Now, this'll not be some adult stadium-sized bouncy house. No, not all that. FBC Mortgage is now Acrisure Mortgage, but mortgage in the stadium's name, well, it's kind of boring, but Central Florida's students and fans in the stands, well, they're not boring. They're why their stadium has been nicknamed the Bounce House. Yeah, they keep it bouncing in there. So swap FBC for Acrisure and replace mortgage with Bounce House, and there, fixed. The Big 12 Conference's Central Florida Knights home will be bouncing with a new name. And hey, ready to go for the first home game, August 28th against Jacksonville State. And there's a 27-year-old guy on Long Island who's probably either single or has a loved one who wanted him out of the house because this guy just played a round of golf for 36 straight hours with only 1 5-minute break per hour. CBS 2 New York followed the saga at the Huntington Crescent Club, started the Sunday before last, the 8th. And that's when Kelechi Azihi teed off at the first hole before a full day and a half on the links, all to break the Guinness World Record for the longest marathon playing golf. CBS 2 is reporting he actually started with a goal of going 24 hours, but in the middle of putting and driving from hole to hole, he found out a British guy was up to the same thing, and that British guy set a new record at 32 hours. So Azihi stretched out his plans. Supporters followed from hole to hole to root him on, and he did it. 36 consecutive hours of driving, slicing, putting around in the light and darkness. Yeah, the folks at the Guinness Book of World Records, they're now double-checking to see if Azihi's name will end up in their book. Meanwhile, this has no doubt given some married golf lovers, if you think about it, it's the perfect excuse now whenever they'll want to get out of the house for a day or two. Honey, I'm going to break the record. Back in a moment. But first, before we break, check out DJ Greg H's Jams podcast.
Blazing the best hip-hop, R&B, reggae, soca.
You can get the Jams podcast mix on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, and Deezer. Download the podcast for free.
It's Jams Hour Mix with Greg H.
It's not often that you'd want to lean in for a close sniff of toilet paper. But the rose-scented paper rolls from Rosie will make you want to press those nostrils up against a roll. And there, you can inhale the rosy aroma soon to bless your bottom and feel the 4 plies of cotton ball softness about to caress your tush. Rosie bathroom rolls, because your butt deserves it.
Available nowhere.
And now for the world around us.
Hey, this past Thursday in British Columbia's city of Surrey in Canada, it looked like a sunny day in the videos taken in this one neighborhood, so at least it was nice out when folks looked out their windows and saw another good reason to go outside. I mean, after all, it's not every day a herd of buffalo will come strolling and trotting down a block. Yeah, that's what happened. 24 heifers got loose from the Tesfa Farms water buffalo property, and one lady tells CBC News Radio Canada that she was just washing dishes when her daughter ran in and said a herd of buffalo was running down the street, so she stopped and then became among folks in the neighborhood running outside with phones to record them. She says they ran along a highway, then jumped into a frog pond, then went through that pond underneath a bridge, then just toured the neighborhoods for a while in front yards, backyards, walking, running, until farm workers caught up and corralled all 24 with gates. And that was right in actually some people's manicured front yards with flower beds. So, hey, maybe they helped fertilize the flowers before farm workers coaxed them all into trailers on their trucks to take them back. Nobody hurt. No water buffaloes hurt either. Just a bunch of amused people in Surrey, British Columbia, watching and recording, posting on social media so we could all get a laugh out of that. Actually, I got a laugh out of realizing while writing up this story that my iPhone thinks that when I say Surrey, it thinks I'm saying Siri. So iPhone users in British Columbia's second largest city may get interrupted a lot when they talk about Surrey. Pretty messed up for all the people who bought tickets to the Bonnaroo Music Festival in Tennessee after most of it was canceled for severe weather. Yeah, all here in the U.S., but the Download Rock Festival was apparently banging this past weekend in England's Leicestershire County. Yeah, Korn, one of the headlines. Green Day got a little political again. And before the festival started, Leicestershire police put out a warning to the headbangers in the crowd looking to go nuts in mosh pits, telling them to not, well, at least maybe not, wear any devices like health bracelets or watches that keep track of heart rates and sign of whether someone's hurt. Yeah, some of those smartwatches can call 911 or 999 in England for emergency help. And that's what Leicestershire cops say they've been getting more and more of in recent years during the Download Festival. People jumping around pogoing and slam dancing have been triggering emergency calls. Yeah, that's how bad they're dancing. Smartwatches are calling the cops on them. But it is worth remembering, for those of us, especially with those smart bracelets and watches, to, maybe take them off if banging around in some kind of way. You don't want cops called homes after a wild romp in the bedroom, or maybe if you do, that's your kink. Don't want me to yuck your yum, but just know, it seems police nowadays would prefer people take off the wearables before physical activities to prevent false alarm calls. Time for another break. Back in a moment.
And lead men towards more personally fulfilling conversations.
Are you telling these guys to watch Real Housewives? They keep talking about Dina's husband.
So stumble onto Stumble and stumble into love.
Are you telling these guys to watch Real Housewives? They keep asking about Dinah's husband. No!
What's up with what's going down, though?
Hey, those of us of a certain age may have no idea what a Labubu doll is. Outside of parents or former Beanie Baby collectors maybe, who've been waiting a quarter of a century now for the next craze. Yeah, Labubu dolls. Sounds like they should be flushed. And they are ugly, but in a cute way. Little monkey-looking creatures with 9 teeth poking out in their grin. And do count the teeth, because if it does not have 9, then it's a Lafufu, not a Labubu. A Lafufu, nickname for counterfeit or bootleg Labubu dolls. And these plushies with the keychains on them, they're the latest rage really around the world. Celebrities like Rihanna and Dua Lipa, they've been showing off theirs. NBA player Dylan Brooks with the Houston Rockets, he was teased by TNT's Inside the NBA crew for showing up to a playoff game about a month ago wearing one. Yeah, Charles Barkley was talking about he was wearing a bunny plushie. And there are accessory shops open actually in some countries just for Labubu clothes. Ball caps, skull caps. I mean, the craze has gotten to that point. So as we all know, with crazes like this, well, besides the bubble bursting at some point, it's hard times now to find a Labubu to buy. Well, Labubu to bye-bye. So UPI is reporting there's a bank based in Shenzhen, China, Ping An Bank, started a promotion to give free Labubu monster stuffed dolls to new customers. Until China's national regulator stepped in, the Financial Regulatory Administration in China banned the giveaway to new customers, arguing these kinds of promotions could drive up banking costs. And they don't care about the cost of plushies themselves, which should go for $20-something. That's the retail price, but since they are collectibles, resales right now going for a few hundred online, so good luck if looking for them.
In my house and I hear all this noise going down in the back, things falling off the walls and stuff. And I hear something like my woman, Nanette Lee, back there saying, keep doing what you're doing, 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 keep doing what you're doing, why? I'm saying, now what's going on back here? I want to kick this door in. She said, keep doing what you're doing, 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 keep doing what you're doing, why? So I know something going on by then, baby. I'm gonna break this dough down.
And that'll do it for another Real Pod Newscast. And thanks so much for listening. And if curious about the music between stories in the cast, check out the show's Facebook page. Have it listed there. And a shorter version of Real Pod without celebrity birthdays, that's also up on YouTube. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Back on Friday.
This has been the Real Pod Newscast with Levon Putney from Show Enough Productions. And for more, hit up the website, realpodnewscast.com. That's real with 2 E's. This is Big Daddy Marty Allen. Thanks for listening.
Show enough.